Hey gamers, welcome back to the Daily Dose. My name is XONEVANT, and a special shout out goes to Sam Takara and Chris Taylor. They both sent me pretty much the same article on Facebook. One of them sent me a video from IGN, and then the other one sent me an article. So I have plenty of confirmation, and it looks like there's a lot of other news outlets covering this story as well. It looks like it's fairly new. It came out either yesterday or today, but it appears that the Xbox One is no longer requiring that the Kinect sensor be turned on while you play your console. You know, previously it was said that the Xbox One had to be turned on in order to even boot up your console, that one couldn't work without the other, but now we're finding that that's not necessarily true. Let me go ahead and read this quote to you right quick. You have the ability to completely turn the sensor off in your settings. When in this mode, the sensor is not collecting any information. Any functionality that relies on voice, video, gesture, or more won't work. We still support using it for AR blasting in this mode. You can turn the sensor back on at any time through the settings, and if you enter into a required Kinect experience, like Kinect Sports Rivals for instance, you get a message asking if you want to turn the sensor back on in order to continue. There's also some other changes that got made too, like the Xbox Live Gold got some changes. Also, the controller got some changes. There was a video that got posted today on Xbox's YouTube channel. It's actually a really good video, by the way, if you haven't seen it. It's only about 7 minutes long, and I put it up on my Twitter. It was a really good video. They also confirmed that cross-platform chat between the 360 and the Xbox One is a no-go, and that it wouldn't be present in next-gen consoles. Now, let me go ahead and state the obvious. I think that this is a really good thing for Microsoft. I think this is a really good thing for gaming. I think that this is going to make a lot of consumers happy. Now, some of you may disagree with me, and that's fine, but I do believe you're probably in the minority, that the majority of gamers don't want to have to go through all the hurdles that Xbox was requiring them to go through just to play a game, especially an offline game that doesn't require online connectivity anyway, much less the reason to have a Kinect plugged up just to turn the Xbox on. But regardless of how you feel about that in particular, that's not really what I want this commentary to be about. What I want to know, and call me a conspiracy theorist here, right? But what I want to know is, now that they've reversed all these policies, right? The Kinect sensor is becoming that much more irrelevant to most of us. Now, some of you guys did want the Kinect, you did see the value in it, but I think most gamers did not. But put all that aside now. So the question I have is, why do I still have to buy the Kinect sensor along with my Xbox One? Why are they making it a mandatory addition to the Xbox One? And my only thought is that once everybody goes out and buys the console, and they have that Kinect that quote-unquote supposedly does nothing, right, unless you turn it on. And the reason why I say this, guys, is how do you go from just a couple of months ago on stage, right, live, stating that the Kinect and the Xbox are one, right? It's an all-in-one type system. One can't work without the other one. This is the future of gaming, blah, blah, blah. You know, how do you go from that to, we're just going to ship you a Kinect that probably 80 to 90% of you are probably never going to use. You see what I mean? You're never even going to turn it on, and it's just going to sit there. The only thing I can think of is at some point down the road, they're going to reverse their policies again. And I'm glad that they've reversed their policies, because I don't think it was the future of gaming. And if it was the future of gaming, it was way too early in the industry to make it happen. It was just way before its time. But how do we know that they're not just going to reverse all this stuff yet again? That's my only question to Microsoft, is are you going to stick with this? Because they have a track record over the last couple of months of not sticking with anything. Everything they say is then reversed by something else. And granted, a lot of that is due to the feedback and criticism that they're getting from both analysts and consumers, and let's just go ahead and be real, from Wall Street, right? Wall Street is also having a lot to do with the fact that they're reversing their policies. But the point of the matter is pretty simple. I just don't trust them. I just don't trust them. It's like having that kid in your house who robs the cookie jar, and you ask him, did you do it? And he's like, no. Yet he's got a cookie hanging out of his mouth. You know what I mean? And it's obvious that he did it. That's kind of the feeling I get with Microsoft. You know, they're going to be making us buy a Kinect. They're telling us that we're never going to have to use it. Meanwhile, they're putting it in the box. Mandatory. You see what I mean? It's almost like that kid having the cookie hanging out of his mouth, right? And in just about every single newsletter that I've read, and even articles that are up on actual Xbox's website, it always says in fine print when it comes to like the online play and some of the other features that we have the right to change these policies as we see fit. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing, but you get my point. There's always that fine print. And so my question is, are they just buffering the consumer to buy the console, you know, make everybody happy out of the gate? Everybody wants to buy it now because it seems like more of a gaming console than something else. So we all go out and we spend our money, right? But once they have it in our home, who's to say that they're not just going to reverse it all again? Because I think a lot of you guys probably thought like I did initially, right? Like when they first said the Kinect was going to have to be available with the Xbox and that one couldn't function without the other, in my mind, that was irreversible, right? That's just the way that it is. We're going to all go out and buy the console, and that's just the way that it's going to be. And then in less than a couple of months, now suddenly it's not required. So who's to say that once it gets to my house and in my possession, that it won't just go back to the way that it was a couple of months ago, right? If they can change it that fast to quote-unquote downgrade the technology, can't they just flip a switch somewhere and upgrade it just as fast? I don't know. I'm not a tech guy, but it's just part of my conspiracy theory with this whole thing. This could very well go down as the craziest, roughest launch in history, because basically they build a console, and then through the stock market, through us, through Sony giving them flack, they've pretty much redeveloped their entire console in like a couple of months. There's supposed to be some mandatory patch is supposed to come out day one. That's a little bit scary for me. I don't really like those big patches on consoles. Am I happy? Yes. Yes, I'm very happy that they are changing their ways, but I just don't trust them 100%. So anyway, guys, that's it for today's Daily Dose. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Again, thank you to Sam Takara and Chris Taylor for hooking me up with those articles. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you have an article you'd like for me to cover on the show, let me know on Facebook, or comments, or private message me, or just get up with me in general. And if I like the article and I read it, I think it'd be good for the Daily Dose, I'll make sure to give you credit. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching the show, and I'll see you tomorrow. You guys be good.